Hey, Connecticut. I'm going to start backing up conversations with the FBI that implicate Richard Blumenthal, Jim Himes, and Murphy. It all started with a robbery, and this is a 33-minute conversation. I'm going to fast forward it.
Okay, I had 6 machines stolen. Okay, I own a brokerage firm.
Start here.
Hey, I chose option 3 because it's not an immediate thing, but
The
I'm
next conversation I'm
totally being
play
robbed.
implicates Christopher Ray.
Well, I own a brokerage firm.
And
do you know what a NASDAQ trading machine is? Well, like a stock trader will input trades over the internet they're tied to the bank account, and they, like you buy.
NASDAQ workstations can be used to launder money. It's very simple. They cross stocks at zero and they sell them out of the owner's account, which does not generate a 1099, and they give the purchase of the stock at zero to another entity. That's what Connecticut does. That's what Connecticut did to my brokerage firm. And Jim Himes was called. Jim Himes covered it up since 2009, leading to the Blumenthal bribe, which I will cover today from this disc. So listen to the conversation.
1,000 IBM, and you put it in, and it's tied to your bank account, like a day trader. Okay, I had 6 machines stolen.
This is FBI Washington.
Physical.
I went to the New Haven office 100 times.
2,000 times. Norwalk, Connecticut.
She's asking me questions.
No, I've called them so many times. They don't think it's their jurisdiction. Well, let me talk to you for a minute or two and try to describe the whole problem. That's just part of the problem, and then you can send me where you want. Is that cool? Okay, so the problem is the machines were stolen in 2000, which was 17 years ago. I called the police thousands of times as the accounts were being looted, and the police told me they were investigating.
Darien handled all the bank fraud. Big problem. Big problem.
Okay, this is a couple 100,000 felon.
A gunman from Darien is connected to this case, who was caught with $18 million in the trunk of his car. And he is the brother of the doctor that gives out free oxy. It's a problem. And the witness says that the Darien police received free drugs.
More. So, unfortunately, and I have 65 cassette recordings of my conversation with local police, who in turn
this holds 10,000
sent
hours.
Informants to threaten me. So I've gotten at least 4 people after me, which I'm not really particularly afraid of them.
So what the FBI did and what the CIA did is one thing, but we have just begun to talk about what the ATF did, which is worse. So if you think the FBI is a rogue, organization, James Comey ran the Connecticut FBI. It's connected to Diallo, hedge funds. It's connected to, it started with Bernie Madoff, truthfully. But they covered it up. The FBI covered it up. Christopher Ray covered it up, and I am told stole $3 billion with Richard Blumenthal.
But how many times do I have to alert the federal government of the largest securities problem in Connecticut state history, with them thinking it's not a big deal and that they don't have to look into it, when in fact now I'm at the point where I sued 5 police departments for falsifying a 17-year investigation. Okay, they have claimed to have no recollection of anything and no evidence.
Now we find out they said I was a domestic terrorist and never did any work.
And the problem is that you can't send an informant to commit a violent crime. It's a violation of my civil right. So the problem, and I've reported this problem multiple times. It's the FBI, no big deal. But the problem now I'm facing is that 3 judges that have heard the cases were all appointed by the mayor of Stamford, who is friends with Brett Larrabee, who worked together for 10 years with him, and a gentleman named Provader, who is a judge now, and a judge named Heller, and a judge named Jacobs, who have denied me discovery about 200 times.
I've been denied discovery.
Denied us all interrogatories, all requests for production, subpoenas. I've had 4 or 5 trials already.
There are 145 denied subpoenas, well, issued. The person received the subpoena, but the clerk is telling them they don't have to answer the subpoena, which is not true. Now, the clerks are stealing the motions. Can you imagine filing a motion and having it disappear?
Denied me the jury. They're ruling on making decisions themselves, and they all have a conflict of...
Case in point, Carl Cicchetti, on tape today, the clerk of the Supreme Court of Connecticut, said that he returned 1,100 habeas corpus. That's 1,100 felonies. Arrest his ass. Carl Cicchetti is going in the document. Actually,
interest being appointed by the person...
Let me go add him to the document. No,
who was mayor of the city of Stamford, who is now governor of Connecticut. So I don't have a problem with them, really. But the fact is, I'm in court all the time trying to get people's money back. And the fact that I've initiated multiple cases for police misconduct is really making me a target. And I receive a lot of phone calls, and my phone needs to be tapped, period. I've had 170 threats already placed on me. So the fact is, my mother was threatened, my son was threatened, hey, fine, I have a popular name, I get it. But to tell you the truth, are you still there? I don't mean to ramble on, but it's a very complicated money laundering problem. I can give you a list of the crimes being committed: wire fraud, check fraud, embezzlement, murder for hire. I've had 10 attorneys claim to be my attorney that I don't know, which is ridiculous. I mean, they're commissioners of the court. So here we are. I'm in the court all the time, and the judges won't give me any evidence because it's such a bad situation that they don't want it to be a black eye on the state of Connecticut. Well, show me 10 attorneys. What would happen if you, for example, I don't know your name, I don't need to know your name, if you had 10 attorneys claiming to be your attorney and they were laundering your client's money, it would be a bad deal. It would be bad. Now, the judges have given about 15 people immunity. Like they gave immunity to the state's attorney, to the statewide grievance council, everyone, police chiefs, everyone in the case is involved, they have discretionary authority, they can do what they want. You know what? They sent a guy after me who had 55 arrests. Okay? 22 current arrests that I know of. The guy's a kickboxer. They allowed him to live in my office of my brokerage firm. Excuse me? They said he was my tenant. Excuse me? I would never let. I didn't know the guy's name. I had to evict him as a John Doe, which is practically impossible to do in Connecticut. They don't evict anyone who's a John Doe because you need the specific name of the person. If you look on the FBI cases, the case in East Haven where my office is, East Haven is a swarm, a bee's nest. Carrie, Zulo, Vincellio, Miller, these cops worked me over, okay? The one you didn't go after is Scalaramella. She hid in the bushes for me. I got out of my car. She pulled her gun on me. She was off duty. She threatened to shoot me in the head. And she was off duty. I sued them. I got no evidence. I didn't get my 911 calls. There are 30. Turns out, on June 27th, 2010, I was sent to my own office by police where this guy was waiting for me with an axe. Do I need to say any more? I mean, I have 18 of the 30 911 calls now. Way after the trial, I was able to get them through FOIL. Couldn't get them with a subpoena. You should hear those tapes. There are quite a few tapes you should hear because the FBI already indicted Miller, Carrie, Zulo. They testified they were trained to falsify police reports to justify false arrest. Need I say more? I mean, here I go. I'm a brokerage firm owner. I have an office. Squatters were allowed to take it over. I've never been back to the office. Okay? I bought the thing in 2008, I think, or 10. But I haven't been there since 2013. It's now 2018. Show me. If you read your own indictment of the East Haven Police Department, there are people at the East Haven Police Department, Police Chief Brent Larrabee was never indicted. Mr. Gallo, never indicted. Mr. Nappy, never indicted. And you, by your own admission, know it's a rat's nest where my brokerage firm had an office where they totally took the building over. Now, I don't care that the money's gone, I do care that a lot of other things happened which are totally civil rights violations, police misconduct. Okay, fine. But the fact that 3 judges are involved makes it your jurisdiction because Judge Provader worked with Brent Larrabee for 10 years while Provader was counsel to the city of Stamford. Both people, Larrabee and Provader, work for Malloy, who is now governor. Okay? I had a brokerage firm in Stamford. I called Malloy quite often when I discovered discrepancies with our books and records. I called Malloy when the locks were changed at my brokerage firm. I never got back in. All the furniture was stolen. All the workstations, all the records, all the blotters, all the statements, all the banking records, all the brokerage records, stolen. So I called the FBI in Connecticut, and luckily I recorded the conversations because they have done absolutely nothing. The fact is, of a different color. To be denied 250 requests for production on $40 million that is missing. That's a lot of money. It's not even my money. To be denied all depositions is a civil rights violation by a judge who has a conflict of interest. I mean, Heller, Jacobs, and Bravado were appointed by Malloy, who was the defendant in a trial that took place in April. For 7.5 days, I testified what happened. The police for 7.5 days said, we have no recollection. Okay. The problem is, they have 900 pages of evidence that I gave them, which they denied having, which I can prove they have. So, the problems that I'm talking about that mostly concern me are dealing with the court. Okay, I'm just going to play out the hand that I was dealt, no big deal. But I'm finding out just how corrupt the Stanford courthouse is, and let me tell you, it's pretty bad. Documents I send into the clerk disappear. Thank you. Nothing's time-stamped on the day they receive it. That's a problem. Documents sit on the clerk's desk indefinitely. Okay, that's a problem. Because if you don't have a timestamp by a particular day, the case gets dismissed. Well, I've had many cases dismissed, and I just refile them, and I'm beyond the statute of limitations at this point, so I get what's going on. But for a case like mine not to get any attention, I mean, this is domestic terrorism by judges. Okay, they're nice people, but they have a conflict of interest. They shouldn't take cases where they have personal connections, and they should give a guy 911 calls where a gentleman is threatening to kill him with an axe that the police sent. Okay, now the guy who is in jail right now, who's the informant that I mostly am concerned about, so it's not much of a concern, he told me he was working for the police. How can an informant work for the police? Well, he worked for Miller. Miller was indicted by you. So the cops have a way, illegal chain of command from Malloy to Devaney to Scobie to Miller to Filippelli to me. I have a problem with that. And so should the court. So should the FBI. So should the local police department. Unfortunately, Norwalk is a bunch of Neanderthals. Stanford is worse. So I'm just giving you a heads-up phone call. It's January 4th, 2018. I've called the FBI multiple times without any kind of response, nothing. That's okay. I'm doing my duty as a citizen. I've called the police locally, more than 2,000 times, We have wire fraud, 1,200 stolen checks cashed. We have commissioners of the court claiming to be my attorney that I don't know. We have serious issues, an underfunded Securities Exchange Commission that doesn't recognize me as a member, NASDAQ, which is a public company, and the SEC, which is also grossly underfunded. And, hey, Greenwich Global LP is my firm. It's a Delaware corporation. Should not be confused with Greenwich Global LLC, which is a Connecticut corporation, or Greenwich Global LP North Carolina, which is not my corporation. So the problem with the bank's attorneys telling them they're my attorney is that they're committing fraud in that I started Greenwich Global LP. I purchased Greenwich Global Corp. Other people claimed that they started my firm and took over. Well, John Parent has never worked for Greenwich Global LP. Bern Chisholm resigned in August of 2000. If they claimed to run the company for 6 years after, they changed the law stocks at my company. You know, they're sadly mistaken. Because, A, I think 30 people have claimed to be my employee that I've never met. That's weird. So, I don't know if you're still there, but I wanted to leave a message of this nature, and you can decide what you want, and I really have no hope, or I have no expectation. And my expectation of your success is very limited, because I understand you have a lot of other things that are more important, which I completely understand. But the fact is, the Stanford and Norwalk Police are aware that informants are being used to shake down citizens, and I'm one of them, and I've reported it, which seems to get no playback, which is fine, but it is a form of domestic terrorism, I'll tell you that. Every single trade that was executed with my stolen machines has to be canceled and rebuilt. That's the law. Every single stock security in my clients' accounts that were stolen needs to be returned. That's the law. My fiduciaries, which are Bank America, Fleet Bank, U.S. Clearing, Fidelity, ADP, Brook Street Securities, I can go on. There's 30 institutions that have robbed us. Fiserv robbed us. Hey, with stolen NASDAQ workstations, which there is no protection, okay, a person could bring down the entire NASDAQ stock market. If you know who... Hi. Are you playing a message to me? Am I cut off? Hello, is anybody there? Hello, is anybody there? Hello, is anybody there? I hear you in the background. Press 4. See the menu options again. Press 9. For further assistance, press 0. Hey, I was on the phone for 20 minutes and 45 seconds and I got disconnected.
May I ask who you're calling for?
I called Washington about money laundering and I was giving them all the details. And I don't want to talk to Connecticut. I've been calling you guys for 17 years and you've done nothing.
And you were talking to Washington?
Yeah, because they have jurisdiction, yeah. These are federal crimes. I mean, honestly.
Alright, yes sir, hold on 1 second. Do you mind if I put you on hold really quickly?
I don't mind.
We have hundreds of calls into the FBI, and we went there hundreds of times.
Wait, sorry about that. I had another call come in really quick.
Not to worry. Maybe I need to speak to a senator or governor or a congressman who's in charge of securities fraud and money laundering.
Are you from Connecticut?
Yes, I'm from Norwalk, Connecticut. I live in Norwalk, Connecticut. I have the largest money laundering scandal in history of Connecticut that I've called about numerous times, of which no one's ever taken us seriously.
Okay,
Can I speak to a congressman or someone on a committee that has something oversight of the FBI? case. After all, I read up on it, and whoever has oversight of the Securities Exchange Commission, I should be talking to right now. I'm saying, okay, there's so much securities fraud that police used informants to shake us down.
I'm trying to look through the contacts we have here for you. One second.
I mean, does that sound serious? I'm on the speaker, so sorry. I have a snow day, so obviously.
Yeah, I don't see anything in here for the SEC.
Well, who's in charge?
Sir.
Who would handle a multi-million-dollar money laundering case?
The only thing that I can do for you, sir, is transfer you to our tip line, and they would send the information back to us. So
I've called the tip line, and they've done nothing. And now, the problem is so enormous that I don't think it can be handled easily. I mean, it's affecting 30 different securities firms, probably at this point, or maybe more. I mean, unless you can explain how it isn't affecting them, I don't understand how. I mean, you know what a NASDAQ workstation is, right? You know, like a day trader has a workstation, they can buy and sell stocks on the internet. Like buy 1,000 shares of IBM, they put in an order and then they get it. Like a computer, you know. Well, my computers were stolen. And they're tied to my bank account. And we haven't gotten a statement ever since because 10 attorneys from my bank are claiming to be my attorney. And they're saying that my records are protected by the attorney-client privilege. I never talked to those attorneys. I don't even know who they are. So you got 10 attorneys potentially taking down the entire stock market.
10 Jim Himes attorneys are taking down multiple banks.
I wrote 31 grievances to the state bar. Never heard anything. I filed 2,000 complaints already. I filed 220 complaints with the Securities Exchange Commission, no answer. I called the State Banking Commission, no answer. Filed a 105-page report with them. Sent 900 pages of evidence to the Stanford and Norwalk Police Departments. 900 pages. No answer.
yes, sir. Hold on 1 second.
900 pages is a lot.
You have reached the FBI Washington field office. All calls may be recorded. If this is an emergency, hang up and dial 911. To report an immediate threat or incident, press 1. If you represent a law enforcement agency, press 2. If you represent a financial institution and are calling to report a bank robbery, press 3. To provide a tip on criminal or suspicious activity, press 4. For internet-related crimes and to submit a complaint, go to www.ic3.gov. For employment matters, visit us at www.fbijobs.gov. For media inquiries, email us at wf-media@ic.fbi.gov. For all other inquiries, press 0 for assistance.
Yeah, I've been on the phone for 27 minutes and 19 seconds. I spoke to 2 agents so far, and they just transferred me. I'm not sure why.
Possibly because you
many times, and they
Right.
have never called us back about the largest money laundering case in Connecticut history.
Okay, well, despite the obvious point of them not contacting you back, the Washington field office can't do anything to change or alter their decision or...
What's their decision? What decision has been made?
Sir, you said that they haven't investigated or they haven't called you back. If they, and it sounds like they've advised you.
Excuse me, but the local police are using informants to threaten us. That's a problem.
Okay, well, one, I'm not certain how you know local police is using.
Because the informants are said so.
The informants were telling us that they were sent by the police to harm us. Now the FBI is saying that they got clearance to talk to me, and they're describing how Blumenthal stole the money. Do you understand?
Okay, and have you contacted the police department internal affairs?
I have, and they don't correspond with us at all.
Okay, well, internal affairs normally will advise you whether or not an investigation can be had, what their findings in their own investigation was.
So let's just take a break. Call Norwalk, that's had a 20-year investigation. Actually, a 25-year investigation. And let's try to reach the chief at 854-203-854-3001. Okay? That's the chief of the Norwalk Police.
Sorry. Chief James Walsh is not available. Record your message at the tone. When you are
Huge
finished,
criminal.
hang up or press pound for more options.
Chief Walsh, I filed multiple money laundering complaints since September 30th, 2000, and I received a bribe offer from U.S. Senator Richard Blumenthal, who I reported to the sergeant about over a year ago, and I need a copy of the police report. Thanks. I'm going to call the desk now. Let's see what happens.
Department. If you have an emergency, hang up and dial 911. Para español, oprima el uno. If you are reporting an incident and need an officer dispatched to you, press 0 for the operator. If you know your party's...
Wait while I transfer your call.
Norwalk Police, how can I help you?
Hi, how are you? Can I get your name?
My name is Eric.
Eric, hi. I reported a year ago that I was offered a $100 million bribe by Richard Blumenthal, and then I tried to get the police report, and nobody would give it to me. Can you?
Who am I speaking with? What's your name?
My name is Flynn.
Your name is what?
Flynn. John Flynn.
John Flynn. Oh, okay. I got just the person to speak to you, Mr. Flynn. Stand by.
Oh, good. Let's see. Who's that? Internal Affairs? Hume or Ronzinski? I have just the person to speak to you. This is a joke, right? This is Norwalk's finest. Obviously, no one answered.
Have they submitted any paperwork to you?
Well, can I get that paperwork that they've compiled? How?
Hold on. That's something that you'd have to ask their internal affairs.
Norwalk Police, how can I assist you today?
Did I just speak to you?
You might have.
And you just transferred me to nowhere?
I transferred you to speak to an officer because you want.
Well, here I am. I'm talking to the feds, and they want this police report.
How can I help you?
Well, you gave me your name, Eric, right?
Yes, I did.
And then you transferred me to nowhere, right?
I transferred you to the front desk so you can speak with an officer.
So hold on. I got an offer a year ago, $100 million bribe from your U.S. senator. I recorded it. I came to the police department. I filed a police report. And we're meeting with the feds about your incompetence. So can you kindly get me my report and connect me to the whoever, Ronzinski, Hume, who's the new Orr is the new guy?
I'm not sure who you need to speak with, Mr. Flynn.
Internal Affairs, your boss,
Internal Affairs? Yeah,
and the feds.
That's Lieutenant Orr. You'll see the
Yeah.
Internal Revenue.
Let me speak to him.
Sure, stand by. Hold on a second.
If you get Orr, that'll be a miracle.
Mr. Flynn, do you have any case number?
No, you didn't give me one. You didn't give me one.
The officer didn't give you one?
There's been 2 murders because of it. So I expect that you're going to actually start helping me. I also reported the 2 murders.
All right, stand by one. I'm going to transfer you to Sergeant Lieutenant Orr, okay? And if he doesn't pick up, you can leave a message. He'll get back.
No. Listen. This has got to end. What is your last name?
No, I don't give him my last name.
Okay.
My last name, sir.
Okay. You know how much evidence I have now?
Okay. I'm going to transfer you to Lieutenant Orr. If he's not available, you can leave a message, okay? That's what I can do for you, Mr. Flynn.
Where's the police report for the murder of Elizabeth Harding Weinstein?
I can't answer that. I don't know.
Well, you should know, because it should be there, because I gave one. You should be able to pull it up on your computer.
All right, Mr. Flynn, one or two things we're going to do. Either I'm going to transfer you to speak to someone else, or we're going to disconnect this phone call with you.
That was the stupidest thing you have ever said. Connect me to Orr.
Stand by.
Sorry,
Lieutenant David Orr.
is not available. Record your
You'll never
message at
get
the
this
tone.
guy.
When you are finished, hang up or press pound for more options.
Hello, Lieutenant Orr. It's John Flynn. I've left messages for you since you were hired, and you've never called me back. Well, there are 2 murders, and there is a bribe that was made a year ago by Richard Blumenthal, which I reported, and I need all 3 police reports. The Elizabeth Harding murder, I need the Anna Taylor murder, I need all kinds of stuff. And I'm going to add you to a federal lawsuit. Today's October 30th. If I don't get an answer, I'm going to have to cross-examine you and bring you into federal court. So just answer and do your job, because your internal affairs, and you covered up so much crap. I could start with 10 police officers that you mishandled, and I'm friends with the guy who you guys choked, who is an FBI agent, so you know. The guy that you choked is an FBI agent. He works in the cyber unit, and he was a Norwalk resident. He now lives in New Jersey because he was afraid. Call me back. You have my number. I need all 3 police reports. I can give you an email address. Fine. flynnjohn8863@gmail.com. It's a special email for special people. Answer today. Thank you. I need all 3 police reports. I also recorded that when I gave you the police report. So they have to match. And in the case of Alfred Esposito, you guys doctored the audio. And he's the expert that knew you guys falsified the evidence in his case. And he countersued you. So the FBI wants to help me stop you. Do you understand? So you need to cooperate. Thanks. Because if you don't, you'd be aiding and abetting a criminal enterprise that offered me a bribe. And maybe you want to go to Leavenworth for 25 years. That's okay. You can decide your own fate in October of 2025. Thanks a lot.
How do they go about informing a complainant of what the outcome of the investigation is? We don't control that, and
I tried to put 9 detectives on the stand and cross-examine them, and they said they have no recollection of anything. So, I mean...
Well, that's separate. You're actually moving forward with an actual...
Yes, we put Maloney on the stand. He had no recollection. Maloney works for Norwalk.
Internal Affairs investigation. Internal Affairs for that police department
Maloney said that I was a domestic terrorist.
is responsible for investigating.
I've reported to you guys multiple times that we have received 172 threats. That's
We're up to 193, incidentally.
enough. That's enough.
Sir, again, I don't know if New Haven told you this.
No, they haven't told us anything.
Okay. First line of contact is to contact the Internal Affairs for that police department. That's the first line of contact.
I've done that.
Okay. And it sounds as if you haven't gotten any correspondence from that Internal Affairs department.
None.
Okay. What you need to do is you need to recontact them and ask them how do they go about advising a complainant on what the outcome of the investigation is.
The informant.
What was the outcome of the money laundering investigation? That I was a domestic terrorist while they were stealing the money.
Sir, an informant is completely separate from Internal Affairs. And besides, you're making a complaint about what police is doing and what they're doing using informants. Again, this person who...
That's under your jurisdiction. The police can't use an informant without following the Janet Reno guidelines that are set by the federal government.
Okay, again, your first line of contact is to contact Internal Affairs because, again, you can't verify what that person is saying is true.
shot in the back of the head, execution style. So that should be good enough. If anyone is continuing to do that, I can't help you, but you should be helping me.
Lisa Scaramella of East Haven threatened to shoot me in the back of the head. That was in 2013. Fast forward 12 years from then, now we're being told also. So
I don't need,
Threat on your life is a local police matter.
Yeah, unfortunately, they control it.
Okay, I will put you through the newspaper again, but there's nothing the Washington office can do.
Okay, I'm recording this since the beginning. So if anything should happen to me, John Flynn, yeah, play this tape, okay? And I can tell you more. I can tell you a lot more.
Hey, they will also hear that I told you that the Washington office could not assist you because you're out of our jurisdiction. So,
Excuse me, the 300,000 trades that were executed were between states, interstate. Wisconsin, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Rhode Island, interstate.
Please hang up and dial 911. Please listen carefully to our menu options. If you're a law enforcement officer or are calling to report a bank robbery or kidnapping, press 1. If you file a complaint, report a possible federal crime or suspicious activity, press 2. If you're calling to report a possible internet-related crime, visit www.ic3.gov. That's www.ic3.gov. If you're calling for media or community outreach information, press 3. If you have any questions regarding general applicant processing or employment, press 4. To hear the menu options again, press 9. For further assistance, press 0.
you will get no assistance from the Connecticut FBI or local police departments. This is a lawless society here. We are on your own.
goodbye.
Goodbye. That was 35 minutes. And in the middle, we called Norwalk Internal Affairs, the Chief of Police, and the desk sergeant. And what I can tell you, in a blue state, they are using informants to threaten people as they rob you. Then they try to entrap you with a bribe by your U.S. Senator, and your congressman covers it up. It's fantastic. Thanks for listening.